It's fun taking the trip down memory lane for Brain Quicken way back in the day, the sports nutrition company. I mean, I say sports nutrition because turns out Americans did not want to be smarter at all. So selling something for improving cognition at that point didn't work at all. But I got reports back. This is when it's very high touch from athletes, especially NCAA athletes who bought it for studying. They're like, yeah, I don't really care about the studying though, but it improved my time off the blocks for my track event. It helped me with this, helped me with that. And being the idiot that I was, I ignored that for ages. I was like, no, this is Brain Quicken, right? In my own head. So I kept pounding my head against a brick wall. It didn't work. And eventually I was like, well, wait a second. They're using this for sports. The only reason I spent so much money on my supplementation as a percentage of my income is because I cared about sports performance, really. And then pivoted, and that's when the whole thing took off. But that's not the takeaway that I was going to share. What I was going to share is at the very earliest stages, I had a website up, which a coworker at work at Trusan had put together for next to nothing, right? Because we were always scheming and we were always just like going out to lunch and bullshitting, and we were friends. So I paid him, but I couldn't pay him much. And he was like, it's fine. And he put together a website for me. I had not manufactured anything. I had done quite a bit of basic math to figure out if the economics would work. Nothing fancy though. It's like, how much do I think I could manufacture this for? What are some of the basic costs of sourcing? Landed on a retail price. And at this point, nothing has been made. Nothing has been manufactured. There's no product to ship. And I just went to coworkers who are friends and asked them if they would. And it wasn't exactly guilting, but these people at that point didn't really need this necessarily. Like it could be of benefit, but I was like, hey, I want to try this out. Like, would you be willing to just prepay for one of these so that I can try to do a first manufacturing run? And they're like, yeah, sure. Why not? You know, $50 or something at the time. And that gave me just the bare minimum of capital to start having conversations.
I love that.
And then I had to negotiate everything, right? Because I would go to these contract manufacturers and they're like, well, our minimum order size is this. And in my head, I'm like, impossible. That's never going to work. And then they're like, and our minimum term of commitment is this. I was like, yep, also impossible. And so I had to sell the vision. And at that time, I was able to, because I'd learned through cold calling off hours, get a hold of the president of this manufacturer, got him on the phone at one point, and I was just like, I know at some point somebody gave you a break. I'm not asking for anything other than, can I drive to you at any time and just tell you about my vision for this business? And if we are able to find a way to work together, which I would like to, I promise you that I will work with you exclusively as a manufacturer as we grow the business. Went down, and I think he was maybe just amused more than anything else. And he's like, okay, sure. Like after all was said and done. Yeah. And then I used him for years, right? And that's how the deal got done. But it all hinged on, in the very beginning, the pre-sales.
Yeah.
Right. And also I was negotiating at that time. You want to talk about a real pain in the ass. Magazine advertisements. Feedback loop is really slow, right? After you have put out the cash for the advertising, you might not know what you're selling for months. It could take a really, really long time. And so what I did when I started getting more ambitious, because I started with small ads, of course. And then once I got to kind of full page ads, I would go to, say, distributors, and I would say, I would love to feature you exclusively in this particular ad. But for that to work, I would just need you to pre-order X amount of inventory. So they buy X amount of inventory. Let's say that's $10,000. And I would also say, like, it's $10,000, but the rate card for this full page is like 40 grand. And they'd be like, okay, well, seems reasonable, especially since we're going to make a profit on the product. And then I would buy the ad space as a remnant. So I would negotiate last minute. I would get that for like 5 grand. So what has happened? If I had them pre-order, let's say 10K, I paid 5, I'm already in the black, no matter what the outcome of the advertisement, right? And this is the kind of stuff most entrepreneurs are going to have to do on some level, something like that.